Asked and answered. Week 17 insights. Asked, did Atlanta make the right move drafting Michael Penix Jr? When the Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr., it raised eyebrows, especially after they had just signed Kirk Cousins to a long-term deal. The idea of drafting a QB for the future while having a proven starter like Cousins seemed unnecessary. However, after Cousins' mid-season struggles and eventual flameout, Penix was called up sooner than expected. Through his first 2 games, Penix has shown potential, delivering strong performances despite a loss against Washington. His arm strength and pocket presence have been a breath of fresh air compared to Cousins' recent form. While it remains to be seen how this season will finish, the Falcons' decision to prepare for the future with Penix is looking better. And the future of the franchise seems more promising heading into 2025. Answered. Jayden Daniels is no longer a rookie QB. Jayden Daniels has fully established himself as a leader for the Washington Commanders. His performance on Sunday night, leading his team from a 17-7 halftime deficit to an overtime victory, highlighted his poise and maturity. Despite some mistakes earlier in the season, Daniels has grown into his role, showing he is no longer a rookie but a franchise quarterback. His calm execution during critical moments, particularly in the game-winning overtime drive, has fans in Washington optimistic about the future, giving them a stable quarterback for the years ahead. Asked, can the Bengals still make a playoff push? Cincinnati's season has been a roller coaster, but they are still alive in the playoff race, albeit with only a slim chance. Despite their 0-3 start, Joe Burrow has continued to play at a high level, helping the Bengals stay in contention. Their 9.9% playoff odds reflect the slim margin of error left. And while their playoff hopes depend on some unlikely outcomes in Week 18, Burrow's MVP-caliber performance shows that if the Bengals can improve their defense, they can compete with anyone. The team's resilience and Burrow's elite play are reasons for optimism, even if this year's postseason aspirations might be a long shot. Answered. Tampa Bay could be a sneaky tough playoff out. Despite their struggles this season, Tampa Bay's ability to potentially clinch a playoff spot and their solid play down the stretch should not be overlooked. Baker Mayfield has been playing well, with the offense clicking thanks to strong play from the wide receivers and running back protection. While the Buccaneers may not be Super Bowl favorites, they're a dangerous wildcard team. If they make the playoffs, they could give top teams a tough matchup, especially with Mayfield playing clutch football in critical moments. Their performance could be an example of why teams with solid quarterbacks and reliable playmakers should not be underestimated. Asked, what should the Bears do this offseason? The Bears are facing significant questions this offseason, especially after a disastrous loss to the Seahawks. The team's direction is uncertain, as they continue to struggle under head coach Matt Eberflus and GM Ryan Poles. Do they rebuild entirely, keep the current staff in place, or start fresh? There are a number of tough decisions ahead, including whether to move forward with QB Justin Fields, who has shown flashes of potential but still hasn't taken the next step. Chicago will be facing a tense offseason, with big decisions hanging over the franchise. Answered. Is Aaron Rodgers still playing well? Aaron Rodgers' season with the Jets hasn't been as disastrous as some might have expected, but it's still been a disappointment due to the team's poor record. Statistically, Rodgers' numbers are comparable to those of Patrick Mahomes in many areas. With similar passing yards, touchdowns, and passer rating, the difference is the team's performance, with Mahomes leading a playoff-bound Chiefs team, while Rodgers' Jets have struggled. While Rodgers may not be at his MVP level, his performance shows that with the right support and playmaking around him, he can still contribute at a high level. It also highlights how small margins can separate teams and how much depends on supporting talent, coaching, and execution in the NFL.